there's a negative thought loop going on. I got to interrupt it.
Yeah.
I just don't know how. When you were talking about being in that funk, being in that rut, right? And you didn't know what was going on in your head. What was going on in your head was the negative thought loop. It was this thought that you were perseverating on. And for you, that was, a long period of time. For Sophia, it's a matter of, seconds after she gets scored on. And kids get caught in that negative thought loop where the thought is usually to some degree or another, I suck, I'm a failure, I'm not good enough. What am I doing here hanging lights on New Year's Day? And you get caught in that negative thought. And that thought leads to an emotional state. Whatever your emotional state was. For Sophia, it's dropping maybe her head and feeling like embarrassed. Usually it's embarrassment and shame. So bring yourself back to that, Ray, when you were in that funk. Because this is across the board, whether it's a keeper in the goal, whether it's Gianna, who has to make a decision whether or not she's gonna stay to school or leave a school, or maybe she just got yelled at by a coach, or Samantha saying, what do I do now with my life? I'm no longer an athlete, right?
That's right.
And then
That's very true.
That thought leads to your emotional state, which is usually embarrassment, shame, or I'm not good enough. Then that emotional state leads to an action. And most kids, after they make a mistake, withdraw. Men might be different in the way that they act after that emotion. It could be anger, it could be an outburst. For girls, they withdraw a lot of times. Right. They hang their head, their body language is different. And then that leads to a result. That is called the tier, the negative thought loop that we get in after a circumstance happens, like a mistake or failure. The way that you get out of that thought loop is you have to insert a new thought. It is not the circumstance. It is not hanging the lights on New Year's Day. It's not the goal getting scored. It's not striking out. That's neutral. Those circumstances are neutral, and I teach kids that mistake set you up for the big win. If you look at your circumstances neutral, but you can control the next thought, that thought will set you up to be in the present moment. And when you are in the present moment, you are playing at your best, you're performing at your best, and you're feeling your best, because that present moment thought, you cannot go backwards and live in that regret, and you don't have to look forwards and live in the anxiety of what happens next. It keeps you right here centered. And that's what kids aren't being taught. They're not being taught what is going on in their minds. And we're not being taught that as adults when we're having these emotions because we think the circumstance has us down. It's not, it's the thought.